On medium-high heat, coat the bottom of your saucepan with olive oil and let it warm up for a bit. Add in your chopped onions and let that saute for a few. Now add in your minced or chopped garlic, and then you're going to let that saute until your house gets really fragrant. So by now your house should be really fragrant, and you should smell the onions and the garlic just marinating. So now you're going to add in your crushed tomatoes. And I like to use the Cinto brand. It's a little pricey, but I mean it's quality, so use that brand if you can. And then right here I'm going to add in my tomato paste, which is also from the Cinto brand. It's not sponsored, I'm just telling you the taste of the tomatoes and the tomato paste from this brand is amazing. So here I'm just adding in my sea salt and then my black peppercorns. You don't necessarily have to use sea salt or kosher salt. I just like it because it's less saltier than the table salt, and I don't know, the taste is way better. So yeah, just add in my little seasonings, and then I'm gonna add in my sugar. And the sugar is basically used to balance out the acidity from the tomatoes. Do not skip this step. It's not gonna be overly sweet. It's gonna be really, really good. And I think I used about a quarter of a cup. So stir that up really, really good. And then you're going to use oregano. So I think I added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oregano. I'm sorry I don't have like any specific measurements. I've been cooking for so many years, and I just throw in my seasonings, and I know exactly how much to use like when I eyeball it. So yeah, try to follow as best as you can, but you can always add a little at a time and then add more. So you're going to let that cook for about 15 minutes, and now we're going to move on to the balsamic glaze recipe. Okay, so in your pot, you're just going to add in your balsamic vinegar. It doesn't matter how much you use. All you need to know is that when it reduces, it's going to reduce to half. So I'm adding in, I can say maybe about 2.5 cups, and then I'm going to let that simmer over low heat. Balsamic glaze is so good. You can use it for pizza, you can use it for salads, you can use it to top on your meats. You can pretty much use it for everything. It's really, really good, and it doesn't take much to make it. So here I'm just letting it simmer and heat up for about 15 minutes before I add my sugar. And a tip when you're making this, make sure that you're always on low heat. You don't want this to burn at all because it'll be ruined. It'll taste disgusting. So yeah, it takes a little time to make, but trust me, it's worth it. So now I'm going to add in my brown sugar, and then I'm going to add in my white sugar, and then I'm going to give that a stir. And after I stir it, I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let that simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes, just until it thickens. Okay, so now we're going to move back to the sauce. I'm adding in my balsamic vinegar. I believe I add in like a quarter of a cup of this. And then I'm going to add in my red pepper flakes. One thing I like to do when I cook, I like to make sure that everything is made at the same time. So what I did was I made the sauce, let it cook for 15 minutes while I made my balsamic glaze. Now I'm back to my sauce. And now I'm going to let it cook for an additional 15 minutes. So while the sauce and the balsamic glaze are both cooking, I'm just gonna slice my mozzarella. I like to cut it in like, I think, 1/4 of an inch thick, but you can slice it however you want. It's up to you. When making pizza, I like to use only quality cheeses. I do not get paleo or like the store brand or any of that. I go specifically to the deli to get the best cheeses. So now I'm moving back to my sauce, and then I'm gonna add in my basil leaves, and I think I've used 4 of them. Okay, so now I'm back to my balsamic glaze, and we're gonna check it to make sure it's ready. So to make sure it's ready, you're just gonna take a spoon, and you see how it coats the spoon? That's how you know it's ready. So you're gonna remove it for the heat and let it cool down. Now we're gonna move along to our pizza. Okay, so now I'm gonna make my Italian sausage. So I'm just coating the pan over medium-high heat with olive oil, and then I'm gonna saute my garlic. Then I'm gonna add in my Italian sausage, and I take it out of the casing. And then I'm gonna add in my seasonings, which is garlic powder, fennel seed. I believe I use a blend of salt, pepper, and onion powder. And then I'm gonna let that cook. So while that's cooking, take the time out to shred any of the cheeses that needs to be shredded. What my husband is doing here is shredding the fresh, sharp provolone cheese. And while he was doing that, I made fresh garlic butter sauce. Basically, it's garlic, butter, and fresh herbs. I just want to show you guys the balsamic glaze when it's done. After it's completely cooled, you just store it in a container and you put it in the fridge. And this stuff is really good, and you'll have a lot left over. Like, you only use a little for the pizza. Do not skip this step. Trust me, you'll want to make this. Okay, so since this is a cast iron pan pizza, you're gonna put your cast iron pan in the oven on 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes to heat the pan up. So now you could just knead your dough, stretch it out, and then I'm gonna put semolina flour at the bottom just to give it a pizzeria feel, or even a Domino's feel. So now that your cast iron pan is hot and ready, you're gonna coat it with olive oil. Make sure to get the sides. This is gonna give you a very crispy and crunchy crust. Okay, so let's start making the pizza. So you're gonna put your dough in the pan while it's hot. Just be very careful, this pan is extremely hot. Then you're gonna coat the dough with the garlic butter sauce that I made earlier. You do not want to skip this step. This is just gonna soak through and take this pizza to the next level. Okay, so time to layer the toppings. Here, I'm laying mozzarella cheese over my dough. Now we're gonna add dollops of ricotta cheese. Don't skip this step, please. So here's my favorite part. I'm just gonna pour on the balsamic glaze. You can be as heavy-handed if you want to. Trust me, you're gonna want to put a lot of this stuff on the pizza. Okay, so now we're gonna add in our pizza sauce. Do me a favor, after you make this sauce and let it cool down, just taste this sauce by itself. This sauce is bomb. It's so good. It's really flavorful, and you're gonna be like, damn, I made that. So now I'm adding my Italian sausage to my pizza. I know you're probably wondering, why did she layer the sauce that way and then put the sauce first? Trust me, you're going to want to make it this way. Let the garlic butter be the first sauce you put and then top it off as I did with the tomato sauce. It's so good. You just got to make it and you got to try it out for yourself. So now I'm just adding in my fresh basil leaves. Please do not use the dry basil. In the seasonings containers, use fresh basil. It's going to taste so much more better. And then here I'm using fresh pineapple. You can use the pineapple that comes in a can, but I like the fresh pineapple. It gives a better flavor and it's much more sweeter. So now I'm going to top my pizza off with the remaining cheeses, which is the pecorino romano and the sharp provolone. When you're done layering your cheeses, you're going to bake on 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until your pizza looks like this. So this pizza is fresh out the oven, it's still piping hot, and as you can see, it's kind of bubbling still. Now you're going to add in the remaining garlic butter sauce, and you're going to drench that crust. Make sure you get all in the crevices, the corners, the sides, wherever you see dough, go ham. Topping my pizza off with ranch seasoning. It's the Hidden Valley Ranch brand. This stuff is amazing. Don't skip this step. So let's have a moment of silence to appreciate how crunchy this crust is.
How easy. Ooh, child. Ooh, chalet. Try it. Tell me how you like it.
Is it cool?
It's
Kind of hot. Let's see. It's perfect.
Thanks, babe.
Oh, that shit crazy because it's like, it's soft and crispy at the same time.
Right?
And delicious through and through.